Ruben, would you tell me that for how long you've been doing comedy since you're so established comedian already?
Sheesh, I've been doing comedy almost 18 years. Yeah.
What brought you, into this career? Comedian.
It's something that I always wanted to do. I was in school. I was a theater major. I was acting. Studying acting, I should say. And but stand-up comedy was something I always wanted to do. And my acting teacher was like, "Hey, have you ever thought of doing stand-up comedy?" I was like, "Absolutely. I've definitely thought of doing it." Because all my friends used to say, "Hey, man, you should do comedy. You should do comedy." And finally, the opportunity presented itself. I had a buddy who knew a lady who ran a comedy night at a bar, one really a club, a nice club in Long Beach, and that kind of started it. I went there. I prepared something, went there, and went well, and the rest kind of took off from there.
How could you write new jokes since you've been doing that for quite some years?
Yeah.
It's will be hard for you if you in a steady period of time. How'd you work out new jokes?
I try to write from my life's experiences. So every day you experience something different, or you deal with different circumstances and situations. So I try to talk about my life more and more. I think as I developed as a comedian, me personally, I've leaned towards talking about my life more and my experiences and what I've gone through, and shied away more from observational stuff. Even though observational stuff can be wonderful and brilliant, and a lot of comedians do it, but I think for me, talking about my life and my journey, what I go through on a day-to-day, what type of how I was raised, what type of family I come from, those are things I think that make me unique and make me different from what you're going to hear from anybody else.
You did quite a lot of traveling out of study states.
Absolutely.
Did you benefit a lot from that traveling?
Absolutely.
And what do you deal with the challenges of connecting with the local audience there?
Well, for me, traveling internationally made me a better comedian. Number one, because you can't cater to everyone, right? Because if you're performing internationally, especially in a city like Beijing, my audience was from all over the world. So to perform for them, I really have to be true to who I am and really give them me. Because that's the only thing that's consistent is who I am. You know what I mean? I can't do jokes for Americans, or do jokes for Canadians, or do jokes for Irish, or do jokes for Chinese, or you know what I mean? I have to be me and go, hey, this is what it is. Like if you go to a Chinese restaurant, they're going to get Chinese food. If you come to Ruben Paul's restaurant, you're going to get Ruben Paul. So hopefully you like what you get. But I can't cater to anybody. I can just do what I do and be myself. And traveling international forced me to be myself. Because when you're in a comfort zone, when you're in America, you know everybody, or you have a sense of who they are. So it's very easy as a comedian to cater to whatever audience you're playing to. So for me, you don't really have that option when you perform internationally. At least I don't have that option. You know what I mean? Because I don't perform in front of big, Haitian American audiences. That's not a big market. So all I can do is myself, and then I hope people enjoy what I do and see that they have a lot more in common than me than they really understand. And I think traveling the world has really showed that no matter where you're from, we're all human beings and we want the same things innately.
In what way did you benefit from those cooperation with Russel Peters or those big names?
Well, Russell's been a good friend, and he exposed me to audiences that would have never known who I was if it wasn't for him. When you're playing in front of 15,000, 20,000 people, people who would have never known who Ruben Paul is, that's just a wonderful opportunity that he gave me and that I'm grateful for and forever be grateful for. Because, him being a good friend is one thing, but him believing in me enough to take me to these places, believing that I would do well, and then me and him have collaborated on other things, it just gave me more exposure is the bottom line. So a lot of places that I've traveled with him, I've gone back and done my own shows in those places, which is awesome. So that means I've connected with the people enough. We're like, yeah, we love Russell, but we love you too. And to get new fans of people who are not my race, not American, not where I come from, to appreciate what you do is awesome.
When I ask the last question,
Okay.
could you tell me that what's your most admirable comedian, and what do you think what kind of quality would you look into a good comedian?
I think the best comedian of all time is Richard Pryor. I think no one's done it better. And the thing that made him special, I think the thing that I love about comedy, and it took me a while to grow to this and to learn this and really understand it, is honesty. And nobody, I think, revealed more than Richard Pryor ever, where you know who he was, you know where he came from, you know what he was about, you know how he felt, you know his life's experiences. He was pretty much transparent and honest. And that's something that I think we all aspire to, that rawness, to be brutally honest, unashamed, and open about, who we are. Because ultimately, our audience members, people who are sitting and watching you, we all have our secrets, are the things that we've gone to. So when somebody is that open, you're like, I've experienced those same things. No one ever knew. And a lot of comedians have never been as raw and as open, as honest as Pryor. So to answer your question, both questions, I think Richard Pryor is the greatest comedian who's ever lived. And I think comedians who are able to be vulnerable and talk about themselves and their life's experiences, and to share that with the world, is a very powerful thing, because you'll find out that more people, have things in common with you than you would ever think. And you can help them. Like if you struggle with drugs and you talk about the shit that you went through when you were high all the time and this and that, and someone in the audience could be struggling with that same thing and go, wow, if this guy made it out of it and is doing this, or maybe, or whatever. Like, I think the feeling of making an audience member feel like they're not alone is what's awesome about stand-up comedy, where people can sit back and go, yeah, his parents were from Haiti, but my parents are a lot like that too. I thought my parents were the only ones who are like that. I thought I was the only one who did this or did that. And just to know that you're not alone, and that's why I think sharing as much about your life's experiences is not only making people laugh, but it can bring more to to making people feel better about themselves.
May I ask one final question?
Okay.
I'm a comedian from China doing an English gig also.
Yeah.
What kind of jokes would you expect from a Chinese comedian doing an English set?
I think in America especially, people have stereotypes of what they believe Asians are and who they are. And I think to really let people know who you are and what you're about, I think people easily fall into the first stereotype that they think. And obviously, like I said on stage tonight, stereotypes do come from truth, but they don't hold true for everybody in the race. So for me to watch a comedian from China do comedy, it'd be interesting to see a different perspective than, Asians can't drive, or Asians this, or you know what I mean? Like all the cliche, hacky jokes that you might hear regarding Asians. It would be cool to really hear the real deal, authentic life that you live. That's what I would want to hear.